very good evening and welcome to Primetime News. I'm Florine Rajendri.
And I'm Sandra Ferdinando. We start off with a look at show headlines.
Wasim Tajuddin's remains exhumed and handed over to the JMO. Police say they have identified 2 suspects in the disappearance of Pragit Etnaligoda. Leaders trade allegations on the political stage.
Mahinda Rajapaksaට සහයෝගය දුන්නේ නැහැ. ආපහු එනවා ජාතිවාදයට.
ගිය ජීනාජ අපනා කොරියන් කාර්යය කියලෙව්වා. ඔක්කොම එලෙව්වා. එළවලා ඉවරලා අර පාතාලේ ලොක්කු ටික ඔක්කොම ගෙන්නුවා.
මේ මරලා හරි බලය අල්ල ගන්න දඟලනවා. මොකටද අපි බලය දෙන්නේ? මොකක් කෙරුවද?
Elements in the UPFA are attempting to destroy the SLFP, an accusation from Prasanna Solangarachchi.
Sri Lankan das pakshe mahanayakyo helwen indidit lassarai kiyapu aya Vimal Weerawansa Dinesh Gunawardena ekama Uday Gammampila කියන අය.
President Maithripala Sirisena was briefed today on the proposal to establish engineering and technology faculties at the Sri Jayawardhanapura University.
A group including the Secretary to the President, the Chairman of the University Grants Commission and the Vice-Chancellor of the Sri Jayawardhanapura University met with President Sirisena this morning and briefed him on the proposal for the 2 new faculties. The engineering and technology faculties are being established with the goal of introducing professional degrees to meet with the demand in the job market. The President's media division noted that President Sirisena had praised the venture.
The remains of late rugby player Wasim Tajuddin were exhumed today for further examination. Shaheen Jarampathy reports.
I am at the compound of the Dehiwala Juma Mosque, and what you're seeing right now is the grave of former rugby player Wasim Tajuddin. Now at around 10 o'clock this morning, his body was exhumed upon court orders. Now his body was exhumed under the directives of Mount Lavinia Additional Magistrate and District Judge Praharsha Ranasinghe and Colombo Judicial Medical Officer Ajit Tenekon. Now this will determine if Wasim Tajuddin, whose body was found on the 17th of May 2012, is a murder or not. The remains of Wasim Tajuddin were exhumed at 6:30 this morning at the cemetery located adjacent to the Dehiwala Juma Mosque. The remains were exhumed in line with a court order issued by the Magistrates Court in Hulsdorf. Police beefed up security in and around the burial grounds and cordoned off the area where the remains were being exhumed. While the media was not permitted to enter the premises, a number of representatives of the Muslim community as well as relatives of the late rugby player were present at the location. The remains were removed from the location at about 10 o'clock this morning.
The exhumation was not difficult because the remains had been wrapped in a polythene cover that was well preserved. We hope to furnish a comprehensive report in the near future, including responses to the questions posed by the court.
ශරීරයේ දිරා ගිහිල් තමයි මම හිතන්නේ බොහෝ වෙලාවට අස්තීන් තමයි තිබෙන්නේ. ඒ පිළිබඳව මට දැනට කියන්න බැලුවන් තරම් ඒ සියලුම කොටස් එකතු කරලා ඒ මృత ශරීරය බහලන බෑග් එකකට අරගෙන ඒ කටයුතු කරන්නේ. මේක ලංකාවේද කරන්නේ? නැහැ අපේ ලංකාවේ හැම පහසුවක්ම මේ සඳහා තියෙනවා. මේක ඔහුගේම ශරීරය කියලා කොහොමද හිතන්නේ මේක වෙනස් කරලා නැහැ. මృత ශරීරයේ
The grave containing the body was identified. Members of the family and officials at the cemetery identified it without a doubt and pointed out the location to us. If necessary, we can conduct further scientific tests to ascertain identity.
The charred remains of Wasim Tajuddin were discovered inside a crashed car near the Shalika grounds in Narahempita on the 17th of May 2012. The police stated at the time that they suspected the car had caught fire following impact with the wall. However, Tajuddin's wallet was later discovered not far from the scene of the crash. The court order to exhume Tajuddin's remains was issued last week after the CID made submissions to court noting that they suspect foul play in the death. A group of residents staged a demonstration this morning as Tajuddin's remains were being taken away from the burial grounds. Shahin Jurangpati, News First, Dehiwala Juma Mosque.
Following the exhumation of Wasim Tajuddin's remains this morning, the matter continued to receive political responses.
They exhumed the body and put the blame on us for that too. However, it will take at least 2 months for the report to be released. They have brought this matter up at the last moment and are trying to sling mud at us. CID has stated that even they suspect that this is not a natural death. If the Rajapaksa regime was in power, such a court order would not be even given. This is the magisterial inquest which is being carried out. It has not been confirmed whether this is murder or an accident. If a verdict is given stating that it is murder, then it is left to the CID to nab the perpetrators. There are certain suspicious aspects. The investigations of the CID were delayed because the government analyst's report was delayed. This is not a cover-up.
රසපරීක්ෂක වාර්තාව ලැබීමට ප්‍රමාද වීම නිසා මේක වහලා දැමීමක් නෙවෙයි අත්‍තරම සිදු
3 years later, the mystery of Wasim Tajuddin's death continues to make waves on social media. Shanstyle says that hope for justice people who have been killed like this should get justice. Meanwhile, Sanjeevani Jayasekara Vipulsiri says that may the truth win. Abdul Nazir says, is this called good governance? Death of Wasim Tajuddin proceeds. Questions are also being asked at present regarding the fate of missing journalist Prageet Ekneligoda.
With regard to the suspects in the disappearance of journalist Prageet Ekneligoda, one of the suspects has been identified as a retired sergeant major. The other suspect is a rehabilitated LTTE cadre. The CID is following up on important information that has come to light. Data from that investigation has not been made available since the investigation is still ongoing. We will make it public in the near future.
We call on the Army Commander to please ensure that Army officers come before the CID. At the same time, I call on the President to please ensure that he does not allow Rajapaksa to misuse the leeway that he has been given. Don't give space for the Rajapaksas to do all of this. Do not let them stall this investigation.
Wasim Tajuddin Mahatmyage
Wasim Tajuddin's murder was covered up and the files were closed. The police have exhumed the body today because it was murder. Just as they have exhumed the remains of Wasim Tajuddin, we also call on them to renew the investigation into the disappearance of Prageet Ekneligoda. Who took Prageet Ekneligoda to the army camp and on whose advice? Bring out that file too. Conduct an investigation and let us see who the criminals are.
4 suspects have been arrested for assaulting 2 police officers in the Midigama Turki village in Valigama. Police said that a firearm and 2 hand grenades were found in the possession of the suspects.
A group of supporters of Democratic Party Mathura district candidate Theodore Jayawardena engaged in election campaigning activities in the Midigama Turki village last evening. However, as this group had faced obstructions from a certain group, the police were informed about the matter. Police said that the 2 police officers who reported to the scene to inquire about the incident were attacked. They added that the police officers were not carrying firearms with ammunition at the time.
My son informed me over a phone call that a group is ready to launch an attack on a group of party supporters. So halfway through a meeting, I left to that area, and while I was on my way to the location, an individual connected to the underworld jumped in front of the vehicle and stopped it. He then threatened to set the vehicle ablaze if the vehicle moved any further.
A police sergeant who sustained injuries in the attack was admitted to the Karapitia Teaching Hospital and later transferred to the National Hospital for further treatment. Director of the National Hospital, Dr. Anil Jasinger, said that the arm which was severed badly was successfully reattached following surgery last night. This police officer is currently receiving treatment at the hospital's intensive care unit. The police said that while 2 suspects were arrested last night, the chief suspect in connection with the incident was arrested in the Beirul area. 2 more suspects were arrested today, along with 2 hand grenades and several sharp weapons.
Political party representatives met with the Elections Commissioner once again today, where they presented a litany of complaints ranging from interference from the FCID to the distribution of alcohol and the misuse of state vehicles.
This police unit called the FCID, run by Ranil Wickramasinghe, is carrying out an operation to question and arrest top-tier members of the alliance who are running our election campaign. So we informed the Elections Commissioner of this, and he said that he will take measures to prevent the FCID from questioning any candidate, may it be nationalist or otherwise, before the 17th of August. We mainly spoke about the issue of alcohol being distributed in the Nuwara district. The IGP promised that he would put a stop to this, but we are yet to see any action. So we complained to the Elections Commissioner about this once again. Then the Elections Commissioner immediately contacted the police and informed the DIG there to take immediate measures regarding this. Ministers and MPs who continue to possess state vehicles should hand them over by 12 noon tomorrow, and if they fail to do so, these vehicles will be seized even while they are being driven. We will take action based on the information received and the investigations we conduct. This is not something that needs to be told. We will take the necessary action within the legal framework.
Let's now take a listen to some of the views expressed by party leaders ahead of the general elections.
Be it a Sinhalese, Tamil, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu or Catholic, each and every person has the sole right to live in this country as citizens of Sri Lanka. Everyone's right to follow their own religion and beliefs will be guaranteed. Racism and communalism is not needed for us to do politics. Those who supported Mahinda Rajapaksa are rising up again by arousing racism in the country. In order to prevent this from taking place, you have a singular choice to make. Vote for the UN. Through some repression, we were able to ban the underworld from this country. They eloped. They went and hid themselves. We do not know why they went and hid themselves. Maybe they were afraid of the Sri Lankan police. In our time, they fled from the country. However, what happened during this period? A group of investors arrived in the island and invested. The Chinese, the Japanese and the Koreans were chased out. They chased out the investors and brought back the underworld leaders. They extended an invitation to them.
Friends, they are now attempting to cover up the fraud committed by dancing around like fools. They are attempting to regain power even if it means committing murder. Why should we give power for doing that? It is true that they defeated terrorism. However, he did not do it alone. 2/3 of the war effort was completed under my government and the UNP government. You all know the manner in which he treated General South Fonseca. He was dragged like a dog and put behind bars. He started cheering, saying it was his brother Gota and himself who won the war. There are some people in the villages who are deceived by this.
While in power, he was not able to fulfill the promises. Now with no power, he is isolated and is striving to obtain votes. How is he trying to fulfill the needs of the public in this manner? He was Prime Minister for 2 years and President for 10. Do not be deceived by this demon once again. Do not be deceived by this shaman. I saw him showcasing his flag to the people of Kurunagala. He kisses the children, pokes their bellies and pats them on the back. I request the people of this nation to not be fooled by the double standards of Rajapaksa. Rajapaksa lied yesterday, he lied today and will lie forever.
Addressing another major rally organized by the United National Party in the Hambantota district, UNP district candidate Sajith Premadasa highlighted what he termed as a discrepancy between standard of living of the regime and the people of Hambantota.
Hambantota district
After the 17th of August, we need to take the people of the Hambantota district to Temple Trees and the Presidential Palace. Swimming pools were built for themselves. Not just swimming pools, but also jacuzzis, which are usually seen in 7-star hotels, have been constructed in rooms. My dear friends, jacuzzis massage your body with water. But what was the plight of the people of the Hambantota district? While jacuzzis were being constructed there, here in Hambantota ports with no jobs are constructed. Here applications are distributed for non-existent jobs. While at the Presidential Palace, jacuzzis, massive halls and mansions are constructed.
The election manifesto of the JVP was presented to the Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjith, today.
The Archbishop engaged in cordial discussions with the leader of the JVP, Anurukumar Dissanayake, following the presentation of the party manifesto.
Our country is seeing an increase in conflicts surrounding ethnicities. The loss of trust and confidence is also on the rise. That is not good. Therefore, it is important to build national unity among religious leaders and the citizens. The Archbishop highlighted many pertinent points.
Just a week remains for the all-important general elections. The future of this country could very well rest on these men and women contesting the upcoming elections. Let's have a listen briefly to what they had to say.
Friends, we the United National Party have very clearly stated in this election that we will work against corruption. This is what we intend to do, to create a clean political culture in the country.
We got an election at the time we needed it. The United National Party is going into this election as a party which completely crumbled every single development project in the country and committed one of the biggest acts of thievery in the country's recent history. Therefore, we have no issue in having this election.
The UNP cannot form a government alone, neither can Mahinda Rajapaksa's faction. So it is almost certain that a national government will be formed. So what happens to Mahinda Rajapaksa's team is that their political figure gets destroyed.
If the JVP becomes the main opposition party, I will crawl back to the main office of the JVP. The JVP, the main opposition? What nonsense!
After I get elected to Parliament from the Mathura district come the 18th, and when a Prime Minister is appointed through the votes of the MPs, remember that I will be the first to cast my vote.
Mahinda Rajapaksa went home after leaving even the unborn child 450,000 rupees in debt to the world. He did not fulfill a single promise he made. He said he would provide children a glass of milk and shoes, but nothing was fulfilled. This is the truth.
In 2010, Ranil Wickremesinghe backed out and put Sarath Fonseca to contest. In 2015, he put another person. This goes to show that Ranil cannot contest with Mahinda Rajapaksa. He simply cannot. Dear friends, come the 18th, Ranil Wickremesinghe will lose the position of opposition leader as well. Those in the UNP too will chase him from that position.
The biggest resource we have today is the youth of this country. Back then they distanced themselves from us and viewed us through a squint eye. But today they believe that only we can safeguard their future. Together with the trust you have placed in us, we will bring a new economic policy to the country.
Ranil Wickremesinghe is promising to give cars. Now is that the issue among the youth? They do not even have a job to buy a car. And even if they do have a job, they don't get paid more than 12 to 15,000 rupees. What the youth needs today are good and permanent jobs devoid of party differences.
Come to think of it, both sides are the same. So shouldn't they be criticized? So if a national government is formed like the President said, all these rogues, fraudsters and drug dealers, ethanol dealers and mega dealers will be in this national government.
My dear friends, we are ready to form our very own government. We did have some obstacles, but within a span of 6 months, we have overcome these obstacles and changed our negative mentality. Some tried to split our party, but we did not allow that to happen.
The promises made to this country must be fulfilled. Governments in this country are toppled by civil societies, the working sector and the farming community. Mahinda Rajapaksa, who people said cannot be defeated, was brought down from his throne to his knees through the battle collectively fought by us.
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party went wrong because MPs from the UNP were brought in and were seated on our side. Whenever we speak of drugs, ethanol and murderers, they are indirectly speaking of the UNP MPs who crossed over to this side. We must not repeat our mistakes this time around.
What the country needs is a government which understands your hunger and pain. We are hoping for a just society that gives a fair wage to hired labourers, a fair profit for traders and a fair price for farmers.
Ranil Wickremesinghe always hoodwinked the people. Everyone looks to pass the O-level examination. He said that you could still do your A-level examination even if you fail the O-level exam. But he forgot one crucial thing. That is, the O-level student does not have a vote.
At a
time of an economic collapse when mothers could not feed their children, the Rajapaksa family installed air conditioners and televisions even in their toilets and sheltered their 43 dogs in air-conditioned rooms. We brought an end to this dark era.
The United People's Freedom Alliance convened a press conference today.
SLFP spokesperson Dilan Pereira arrived at the press conference carrying a box. A former police inspector was present at the meeting to make clarifications regarding the Batalanda incident.
What is referred to as Batalanda is a 20-acre coconut estate that is 3 miles along the Markola road from the Kiribatkota junction. 724 Buddhist monks were murdered during the insurrection. A cluster of 46 villages is around the Batalanda area. Persons connected to the JVP insurrection were brought here, tortured and then burnt to death. The torturers are there separate.
කවුද මමද මට සීමා මේ චන්ද්‍රිකා බණ්ඩාරනායක පැතිනේ ඉන්නේ චන්ද්‍රිකා සිරිමා මේ චන්ද්‍රිකා එයා කිව්වා මට සාක්ෂි දෙන්න යන්න එපා කියලා. ඔව් මම තමයි තේරම ඔව් වගකීමෙන් මම අහන්නේ බටලන්දේදී ඔව් 278 බටලන්දේදී නෙමෙයි හාමුදුරුවෝ මැරුවේ නෑ බටලන්දේ නෙමෙයි නෑ මේක බටලන්ද කියලා නෑ මේ නෑ ඔබතුමා කිව්වා ඉස්සෙල්ලා බටලන්ද නෑ බටලන්දට ගෙනින් මේ ඔව් දැන් මේ හාමුදුරුවෝ කියන්න බලන්නේ ඔව් මේ රංජන විජයත් මේ මෙහාට මේක අහගන්න රංජන විජයත් මහත්තයයි මායි අපි දෙන්නයි තව දෙන්නෙකුයි අපි ගියා හැම පන්සල් වලටම හැම පන්සල් වලට ගිහින් දැන් ට්‍රේන් හාමුදුරුවන්ගෙන් අපි තේර විස්තර ගත්තා ඒ විස්තර අරගෙන තමයි මේ විස්තර ගන්න ඕනේ කලන්දරේ නෙමෙයි අහන්නේ ඔබතුමා දැන් මේ හැමෝම අපි හැමෝටම කිව්වා ඔව් අපේ වික්ෂුන් වහන්සේලා ජේපීකට සම්බන්ධ වෙලා ඉංග්‍රීසිය සැකකරලා ඔව් තවම වික්ෂුන් වහන්සේලා 275 බටලන්දේ ගහලා මද දීලා නරුවා නෑ බටලන්දේ නෙමෙයි මම බටලන්දේ හාමුදුරුවෝ කිව්වේ නෑ මම පේුවේ මේ පත්තරේ තියෙන හාමුදුරුවෝ 270 ඔව් බටලන්දේ ගෙනත් ඒ හාමුදුරුවෙන්වත් මම එනකොට මැරුවේ නෑ ඔව් ඔබතුමාට දෙන්න ආයෙත් ඔව් මොකටද බටලන්දේ ගැන කියන්න ආවේ ඔව්
Meanwhile, UPFA Colombo District candidate Prasanna Solangarachi expressed the following views at a media briefing convened today.
These parties that have formed an alliance today are like weeds that have wrapped themselves around the mighty tree known as the SLFP and are sapping its essence. They are in a state where they can switch trees if need be to secure ministerial positions. These people told the great leaders of our party that they were good even when they had been stripped down. People like Vimal Veeravangsa, Dinesh Gunawardena and Udaya Gammanpilla. I invite all three of them to an open debate. I will represent my party alone. It is hard to imagine if these people are giving us a sword or a net. People who did wrong and who were defeated are betraying the party and are attempting to darken our future.
It is pointless if the fishmonger is a good person and the fish are rotten. At the same time, it is pointless if the fish are good and the fishmonger is rotten. They are educated and intelligent people. Before Neil Armstrong went to the moon, the dog Lanka was sent to space to test it out. He must be like the intelligent Neil Armstrong. Maybe Prasanna Solangaraj is like the dog Lanka. That does not matter. It is okay if they come along after we have checked it out.
The Citizens Awareness Campaign being conducted under the theme Don't Vote for Drug Dealers, Fraudsters and Corrupt Politicians was carried out in the southern and Uva provinces today. The campaign is a joint initiative of Newsfirst, Sirasa and Shakti together with the Campaign for Free and Fair Elections or CAFE.
The program got underway in the southern province today in the Mathura town. Handbills and stickers were distributed among the people of Mathura, ingraining in them the message to elect clean candidates to Parliament. Another phase of the awareness campaign was carried out in Ahangama and Gaul. The program got underway in the Uva province today in the Mahianganaya town. The crowd that gathered in the Mahianganaya town also signed the public pledge to elect clean legislators.
Well, that's a wrap of tonight's edition of Primetime News. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Florine Rajendran.
And I'm Sandra Ferdinando. Do take care and good night.